Take it away, Anthony.
I got it.
I thought you were muted.
Oh, wow.
To whom it may concern. The issue is Roe v. Wade. The question is, does this invigorate Democrats or Republicans in the midterms or both?
Welcome to Political Playlist.
All right. Are we ready, guys?
Happy Hour.
Happy hour.
We fucked that up so bad.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Political Playlist Happy Hour. I'm Michael Kristoff.
I'm Anna Muskie-Goldwyn.
And I'm Anthony Barquette.
We'd planned to talk about another heavy topic, Ukraine, today. However, one of the justices decided to go ahead and leak a draft opinion about a pretty big thing, and now that's what we have to talk about. So before we get to that, guys, what are we drinking?
I have a very healthy glass of rosé.
You know what I have, but what do I have in it?
A martini.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say dirty kettle, 3 blue cheese olives.
2 blue cheese olives. Well done, Michael.
Behold.
Oh my God.
Espresso.
That looks so good.
Martini.
Don't drop it.
About
Don't drop
to
it.
spill.
Yeah. Wow, it looks so good.
Oh my God. And that tiny little glass.
Yeah.
It makes you look.
You just spilled
Wow.
it everywhere.
I legitimately. Anthony, give us the question again that you were asking, and then let's dive into this because this is there's a lot to unpack here.
There is a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
So my question is, does this invigorate Democrats or Republicans in the midterms or both?
Right. And Anna, we'll totally let you talk in a sec. We're just going to run with this for a little bit.
I'm really glad that there's like some male banter going back and forth on the issue of abortion. It feels very
Yes. We're going to get to the sort of politics behind it, but I think it maybe bears mentioning just reading a couple of quick quotes to kind of set the stage for what this draft opinion entails. And then we can kind of talk about what our leaders are saying. So, ultimately, Roe v. Wade was ruled on the basis of privacy protections. So at the time, Justice Harry Blackmun, who wrote the decision, wrote the right of privacy, whether it be founded in the 14th Amendment's concept of personal liberty or in the 9th Amendment's reservation of rights to the people, is broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether or not to terminate her pregnancy. Okay, that was the original ruling. Now, in Justice Alito's draft opinion, and we should stress this is a draft opinion, he wrote, "The inescapable conclusion is that a right to abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's history and traditions. Therefore, we thus return the power to the people and their elected representatives."
I'm going to go through the numbers and then I'm going to let Anna jump in here.
I'm here for the flourish.
You know, there's been a variety of different polls out there, but almost over 70% of the population does not believe that Roe v. Wade should be overturned. But it actually does come down to almost 50-50 of should this be left up to the states to decide.
That feels contrary to each other, right?
Totally.
Right?
It totally does. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, there are 13 U.S. states that have trigger laws.
Can you explain very quickly what a trigger law is in case people don't know?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you know?
No.
Basically, a trigger law is super simple. It's essentially that if Roe v. Wade is overturned, there are laws that have already been passed by state legislatures to either codify Roe v. Wade in a state like California or New York, or in the 13 states that you're saying, the legislatures have passed their own laws that would ban abortion to various extents.
What I've seen over the last week is I don't know if there is a more polarizing issue for Americans in this country.
I was literally just thinking this, Michael, because as Anthony was saying, those numbers of states, I was picturing, I'm sure everyone has seen these graphics of the maps of which states have trigger laws, which states will codify it, et cetera. And it literally made me think of like the Civil War.
Well, I think that's also the perfect segue, Anna, because on the Political Playlist platform, we have 75 young politicians under the age of 45. The most divisive issue between them is abortion.
Yep.
We always notice when this issue comes up, it is straight down the middle, completely one side or the other. Yeah. Right? Yeah. No one is in the middle here.
Right.
So what have some of the young politicians been saying from our platform?
So despite this being a very serious topic, which people should be taking seriously, I thought we'd play a little game.
Oh.
So I'm going to read a quote or a tweet, and you guys are going to guess who said it.
Michael's so bad.
Well, we know how
Michael's
great I
bad
am
at
at
this.
this game.
I will say,
Jim Banks.
It's not Jeopardy.
what if it was Jim Banks? I will say, if this is the court's opinion, it is a heck of an opinion. Voluminously researched, tightly argued, and morally powerful.
Wow.
Well, obviously Republican.
Do you want me to say man or
it's a
woman?
man.
No. Hold on. It's definitely a man. Because they're not
Voluminous.
taking like a strong position. Oh boy.
Give us a region here.
South?
August Pfluger.
No. Michael?
Oh God. Greg Stubbe.
No. Both totally fair guesses though.
Okay.
But I think you guys should think a little bit more who uses big words and like touts himself as being very academic. Josh Hawley.
Oh.
So as we go through these statements, we're going to do two on the right, two on the left. I think that we can kind of unpack them because I chose them all for a very specific reason. And why I chose this one is I feel like there is this thing in the Republican Party viewing this potential decision as sort of being on this moral high ground. And I think that what's interesting is that is the Supreme Court there as like a moral body or is it there as an interpretive body? And I think that is kind of where things get really fuzzy, right? That if you're a religious person, if you're someone who believes that abortion is dangerous and should be illegal culturally or for religious reasons, you have that. But I thought it was interesting Josh Hawley saying it in this way where it feels very like preachy. And I think that is appealing to the people who like him. And so again, to loop all this back to Anthony's question, I think that the way that each politician is responding to this in public is really for their own political constituency and reelection.
And we have to remember Josh Hawley going to be probably a candidate for president.
This decision could gravely destabilize the economic, educational, and societal advancements toward equality women have made over the last 50 years.
Woman.
Well, you don't know that. God, I want to say Kirsten Sinema.
Feels like it's like a Stephanie Murphy from Florida.
Ooh, good.
Are those your final answers? Is Lauren Underwood.
Oh, yes. That's so Lauren Underwood.
And I will pose this to you.
Yeah.
Why is it important to, I think, bring Lauren Underwood into this conversation?
Well, she's a nurse by trade.
And she also had one of the largest women's health bills passed in the history of the U.S.
First of all, I would say she's not super far left. She's not moderate. She's kind of in that sort of very solidly liberal category. But I think it's important. Like I started to think in situations like this, I wish we had more doctors in politics. I think that what a lot of Democrats are trying to push people to understand that I think Lauren did well in this statement is saying that, yes, it's about a woman's right to choose, but it's also about the larger ramifications of what happens specifically to poor women if this goes into effect. This is really going to get you guys.
Oh boy.
I can't even believe I'm going to read it. You might have already seen it.
Okay.
It was going around a little bit on the interwebs.
Oh, I maybe know who this is.
How many of the women rallying against overturning Roe are overeducated, underloved millennials who sadly return from protests to a lonely microwave dinner with their cats and no Bumble matches?
I feel like process of elimination, you're picking a woman next because you've already done a man. So I feel like it's like a Lauren Boebert who's so far right. And I'm trying to look at your facial expressions to see if I can get something out of you.
Michael, who
it ain't
is
her. It ain't her.
Wow.
Yep. I'll give you a hint. He may or may not like to Venmo women.
Oh my God.
Those microwave dinners.
Look, I knew it was in the right category. The far, far right. Mr. Gatesy.
I know. I would say Matt Gaetz and Josh Hawley are both very far right. But what I think is different about them is that Josh Hawley has this kind of polished sort of like Republican JFK vibe that he's going for. And then Matt Gaetz is, in my opinion, playing to the lowest common denominator. And I feel like, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I hope even Republican women find this quote like really despicable it's so harsh and just like, and also, it's just to go on like a bit of a rant for a second, that's not even about abortion, but to have this picture of like a spinster millennial woman is just so not modern. It's like thinking that women are just living for their Bumble matches and being taken out to dinner or being married or whatever. I just think it's very out of touch. And I think there's a lot of Republican women who would agree with me on that, especially the ones who are in office, and like Nancy Mace is a single mom and people like that.
I hate to, oh God, I hate saying this right
Anthony's going to come in and defend Matt Gaetz here.
I'm not defending him.
You're just mad because you haven't gone on any Bumble dates recently.
No, but it's not the political gain, but coming back to our question.
Yeah.
The midterms.
Right.
My Instagram is flooded right now with every story is about this. What are you going to do about it? And honestly, 90% of those people aren't going to do shit about it other than post on their social media.
Right.
And I hope I'm wrong. And that's what Matt's talking about.
Right.
Right. I think politically, the interesting thing to keep our eye on here is really two things. What does this do for fundraising? Right. On either side. And I think the second thing to keep your eye on is like, so many of these races, and we talked about this with the 2020 election, and I think it'll be a big factor in the 2024 election, is where do suburban women fall on this issue? And how are these various candidates who are going to be running message to them, who it seems overwhelmingly tend to they may be Republican or independent, but they tend to shade more Democratic when it comes to women's issues like pro-choice.
All right, you ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm mad. I'm mad that 5 radical conservative judges think they know more about my body than I do, but I refuse to be demoralized.
God, it feels like an AOC.
I feel like I'm going to go with the Sarah Jacobs.
Oh, wow.
Did I get it? Wow, that's impressive. I'm impressed with myself, obviously.
Does this help Democrats in the midterms? Does this help Republicans? Does this help both? And what is your prediction for the midterms now with this sort of colossal new divisive issue clearly pushed to the front and center?
Anthony, ladies first.
No,
well
please,
played.
I mean, I have mine.
I like had that in my head the whole time you were talking about that.
And emphasis on quick takes.
So I think this is a torpedo to the midterms right now.
Oh, wow.
I think people have counted out the Democrats.
Yep.
And now this should energize people to say, I don't want to live in a world where this is happening.
So that kind of transitions into my take, which is maybe a little bit more of a blasé one, which is I don't know how Democrats are going to keep the energy around this alive until November.